Okay, good morning everybody. Can everybody hear me clearly? Clean? Okay. Okay. What happened? What happened? What happened? क्या हो गया? You guys are just filled up the chat box early in the morning, guys. क्या हो गया? Everybody is awake today or what? I'm impressed. Good. 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 So let me just guys, chill. This is war. Chat box है यार, relax. Hang on. Let me load my class and then we'll start now. Wait, hang on. Okay, while the time these slides, guys, let's just calm it down. Everybody, let's just calm it down. Let's just go back to what we are doing today. Okay. Okay, so today, last time where we had stopped was this topic. Let it load. I'll just show you. Last time we stopped was at culture. We were going to start what is culture, what are the differences in culture. So just 2 minutes mein, like somebody asked me to recap what we had done last time. The recap was that we had done some grammar testing. We had done what is communication, what are the basics of communication, what are the directions, what are the types. So can anybody give me a rundown in 1 minute? What is the difference between written and oral communication? Just give me 2 or 3 crisp points, fatafat. Then we'll start. Tab tak my slides, I'll also reach where I am here. Okay, so now guys, just tell me, let's just start fatafat. Somebody summarize in 1 minute what was the difference between written and oral communication. Then we'll start. Tab tak I'll switch on my AC, you guys summarize. Okay, where's the summary? Okay. Oral is fast, written is slow, written is formal, and oral can be forgotten. Written is traceable, oral is untraceable. Anybody else? Body language is an important factor in oral communication. Okay. So today I will change some perspective. I will show you how written communication also has some non-verbal aspects attached to it. Abhi that is in the second part. Now let's begin with, okay, you guys remember, so all of you were awake, so I am pretty happy that you remember exactly what we had done, which is very good from my point of view. I don't need to waste time or spend time recapping, so good. So let's just start back from where we stopped last time. We had stopped at this topic called cultural communication. Now, question number 1. What is culture? What is culture and why are we studying it today? Why are we studying culture today? That is my question. Why are we studying culture today? Why is it important enough to be taken in a class? That is my question. Anybody? To understand diversity, mindset of expectations. What else? Okay, what else? Tell me. Culture impact, culture dictates framing of communication. Acha yaar, chalo, let's make it simple. Let's give you a very simple thing. We are all Indians, fine. India mein, you tell me one thing. Even in my area, I'll give you my example. There are 123 houses in my block. Okay, we may belong to a similar background, similar socio-cultural, political, economic background, but there will be 123 different families that are living in my block itself. Multiplied the way the country works, multiply it in the way the world works. Those of you who are like, there are a couple of army guys here, if I remember correctly, couple of guys who belong to the armed forces. You talk to those guys, you see how much of difference those guys see on a regular basis. I don't know, I think Colonel Venkatesh is here, if he can help throw some light on this. His name I remember, so that's why I'm calling it out. So you see the difference that is going to take place. See the differences, see the amount of difference. And culture is something that is very personal to all of us. And that is not something that we would want to change, even if we are taken out of our culture and put into somebody else's culture. Those of you who are living abroad, who either gone there for official purposes or staying there for your education, job, whatever, look at your example. I would want you guys to share the examples of why culture impacts and how it impacts communication. That is what I want you guys to think about. Not just that, those of you who are working with multinational corporations, who are in touch with MNC executives, you look at the way they work, look at the way they behave, look at the way they write their emails. Now, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but there were a couple of students that I have who were from an earlier batch. I think one batch is how much old? I think it's July 2010 batch. July 2010, Jan 2010 batch. One of my older batches. So those guys, there's one person there, I don't remember his name, but since he was based in the US, he never used to write dear sir or dear name or anything. Just start with the first name. मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, but the problem is that when he was interacting with other faculty members, he was being equally in that manner with them. I could understand the background, but for them it felt that he was being rude. So he was later on requested by me कि guys जरा write dear sir or dear madam, at least the way the people want to hear. In the US, UK, elsewhere, first name basis is seen as a sign of respect and as a sign of friendship. But here, first name is seen ulta. So he needed to be told that one day that he needs to structure his email properly. So that is one thing that I could come up with in terms of an example. Anybody else can help me? Yeah, Debajit Da is one. Then there was one student of mine from Japan. He used to always call me this. He's still done. He's still there with us, obviously. So he used to call me this. Now, any of you know what this term means? San. I think some chats are coming a bit slowly in the system. San is something like a term of respect. Guys, जरा थोड़ा सा, it's fine. I am not pointing out. I am not saying that what you are doing is wrong or not. Just do in the way that the other guy expects from you. Get my point? Point is not what you do. Point is that when you are making a communication, we said earlier, what do we say? Tejinder was in Maruti. Yeah, you would have seen that Japanese culture there. So my point is that what I am trying to say is that when we said, remember last time we did this term, I'll just type it out. Now tell me this. Now remember this terminology that we had done last time? The effectiveness of communication. So what do we mean by effectiveness? Audio is fine here. Just relax. Ignore the audio part. Just try and hear. Anyways, I don't have a very beautiful voice that you need to hear it every 2 seconds. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that when we say effectiveness, because what happens is that when we say culture, the problem with culture is that since everybody is so sensitive and so delicate about it, if we get that first impression wrong, that is the problem. So if we don't write dear sir or dear madam or the way they want to hear, then you are not able to, like Mohit is saying, reach out properly to the receiver. That is the biggest challenge. That is the biggest challenge in communication. So that is why I am going to do this topic of cultural communication. I know it may not be fully represented in your textbook, but this is one topic that I want you guys to know about. Because without this, I personally feel that communication is of no use to anybody whatsoever if we are not able to run through this portion of the communication background. Okay, good. You guys are coming up with some great examples. Okay, let me read it clearly. Abhirashi, you will get to know, because I don't know, maybe you adapted well to that change, but there are people for whom this is a challenge. So okay, so let's not, okay, so basically maybe looking at your all of your background, all you guys, maybe I can see that I don't need to spend too much of time in it. So let's do that. Let's just run through the key points, then we'll come back. Okay? How does that sound? Do you want me to go through this properly, or do we just run through the key points and move on? Batao. You guys tell me. How do you feel about this? I'll proceed accordingly. What do you guys want? I'll work on that way. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's do it in the way what you guys are saying. Let's do it with key points with examples. Wherever we get stuck, we can catch up. Okay, how does that sound? I think that makes the best sense. Just request you to read these three definitions that are there on the screen. Just read these three definitions for a moment. Shikhar, then minimize and maximize again. Slides will load again, or refresh it. Anybody is getting stuck with slides? Minimize, maximize, or then just press refresh. We'll refresh in next 2 minutes. Slides are running perfectly here. I don't see any problem with the slides at my end. Okay, so just read this on 73, slide 73. OED is Oxford English Dictionary. That's the recognized abbreviation. Okay, so that is the theoretical definition, which was, when I read this definition, it just went over my head. I couldn't understand it. So I developed this 2 and 3 as far as my understanding goes. Now I may not be the best person who is to talk on culture. I don't have too much of exposure, but itna I know that I look at myself, I look at India as a microcosm of the world. I see hundreds of different segments of culture around me every day. I don't know whether you guys pick up the difference or not. I do try and I do see some differences, where even when people are belonging to a similar background in terms of their education, their socio-cultural patterns, their politics, their economic status, whatever. So for me, culture is basically a system of shared beliefs and ideas. It may be imposed upon. Now, when I'm born into my family, I cannot choose the family I'm born in. So whatever culture I'm born in, whether it's right, wrong, good, bad, I can't help it. That is who I am. That is my background. But on the other hand, when we talk of corporate culture, it is something that is, what we say, mutually agreed upon. So if you don't like the culture of your family, I don't think you can change your family. But if you don't like the culture of your organization, you can always leave and get another job. That option is always there. So that is the difference I wanted to make between this the individual culture and public culture. Yes, it gets modified, but like you guys are right in saying, you can never change who you really are. You can never change what you grew up with. You can try, you can edit, but you can never change. There is a difference. Editing is possible, change may not be possible. Okay, so let's not just spend too much time here. Now, where's my mouse? Okay, here we are. Okay, next slide. Okay. Now, can anybody identify the first picture on this slide? That pyramid looking thing? Anybody identify that? Anybody? That weird pyramid looking thing? Refresh your, minimize and maximize your page again, a picture, you should get it. Maya is fine. Okay, what's the name of this place? What is the name? It's a place called Chichen Itza. It's in Mexico, or what do you call the Central America belt. That is where these guys belong to. So see, now problem with this culture, why I am also doing it is, I forgot to say that earlier. What the problem is that when you interact with people, now I'm not sure how many people you've interacted with in that manner, but whenever you meet people from a different background and they come up with different points, different ideas, different references, I personally feel that we should be aware and we don't look stupid in front of other people who may be able to demonstrate at that moment more knowledge about a topic than that we have. So my aim with doing this is that you guys should improve your GK. You guys need to improve your GK, because what I've seen is, at one point of time, even I was in that position, that there were people who knew much more than I did. There were people who could quote things that I had never ever heard of in my life. Not just heard, I couldn't even recognize them. Which segment does it belong to? Here to chhodi do. Which segment does it belong to? So that is what I want to inculcate in you. Just try and learn. Just try and gain knowledge. Knowledge is not there only in your textbook. You can pick it up from anything and everything. You step out of your house. You can step out of your house. Then also you can start learning. You can pick up a book. You can start learning. You can open Wikipedia. You can start learning. How many of you, when you get stuck with something, go and refer to Wikipedia? How many of you do that? Just let's take a quick poll. How many of you do that? When you get stuck on a new item, how many of you do that? So those of you do, good. Those of you who don't, start doing. Those of you who don't, no problem, start doing. Acquire knowledge. Nothing goes to waste. That is my point of view. Aage you have your own choice, but that is my point of view. Okay, culture determines the way we talk, the way we look, the way we behave, our attitude, our perception, our mannerism, our dress sense, our looks, our grooming. Everything is determined by the culture within which we operate and behave. Okay, now take these 5 people. Can you identify which countries they belong to just looking at their face? Just looking at the face and the dress sense, can you identify the country they belong to? Let's take numbers here. This is 1. This gentleman is 2. 3, 4, 5. Okay, tell me, sequence number 1. think carefully. Look the way they dress, the way their facial expressions are kept in check, the way they look, the way they are sitting, the way their posture is. Just think for 1 second. Now with the first guy, okay, you guys may have a problem because he features the normal things: white skin, fair hair, reasonably well dressed. He is from, Anubhav got it, I think, correct. He is from, what we say, what happened to my slide? He is from Canada. First guy is from Canada. You guys are right. Okay, UK is also right if you say that, because Canadians were settled by UK, by British and white Europeans, so you may have those problems. So let's ignore that fact. Let's just say, okay, gentleman number 2. Gentleman number 2 is not India. No way. Where do you see Indians? Achha, you are looking at the Molly. He's not an Indian. Gentleman number 2. Anybody? Nope. Number 2. Okay, and I need to improve my typing. For second guy is French. Look at the horn rim glasses. Usually you will find only Europeans who would wear these kind of glasses. The thick horn rim type stuff. 3 buttons, proper European dress sense. Okay, gentleman number 3. Again, you would be right in confusing between Chinese, Japanese and Korean. It is practically impossible to distinguish those 3 together. But he is Japanese. This guy is Japanese. More chiseled features. Japanese have slightly better structured features. Okay, gentleman number 4. Monica, minimize and maximize. Okay, number 4, you are right in saying North African. But look at the way his tie is, look at the color of the tie, look at the way he's sitting, look at the way his hair are cropped, look at this small thing that he has on his lapel. He's got a US flag on the lapel pin, guys. Nobody checked that. Subtlety, subtle understanding. That is what I want you guys to understand. Subtlety. Subtlety. What clues you can pick up. Yes, Obama also shares that, Western African background. He also has a Western African background, na? This guy is Charles Bolden. He is NASA's administrator. NASA's chief administrator. And number 5 is Russian. You guys are right. This is a typical Russian look. Russian. Or what we say this one. Okay, so by just looking at the person, you can pull out a large amount of details. Okay, so that is fine. Then we can move on to the next part. This is how cultural variances in business will impact us. The way we dress. The way we dress, the way we conduct our transactions, the way we have religion, the way we have food. Anybody been to any of those Gulf countries during Ramzan? Anybody been there? Gulf countries during Ramzan. Anybody? So what was it? Anubhav says yes. So let me ask you, Richa also says, Richa I think stays there only if I'm not wrong. There's one student of your batch who is from there. I'm not sure who that person is. But those of you who have gone, at least you guys can help me with some example of support or dispute to what I'm saying. Anybody? Yep. No smoking, drinking or even eating is allowed in public. You can do it at home, do it inside your office, do it wherever, but not on the roads, only in the evenings once the fast has been broken for the day. See, so this is just nothing. Now for us, we can just go out on the street, pick up a cold drink, start drinking. It's summer, it's Gulf, they are boiling hot. Their average cool temperature they'll say is 40 degrees, their cool temperature. For us it is hot. So we won't think even for 1 second before we go to a, we won't even think 1 second before in summers when we walk out. I don't know how many of you go strolling. I went to Connaught Place one day in summers. Go pick up a cold drink, start drinking. End of story. If I'm thirsty or I'm feeling hot. So we need to respect the other countries, the other locations' privacy or privilege or whatever. So that is their privilege in executing these laws or these structures. On the same way, business transactions. Now if I have take one example, I'll take this example. Okay, that is my question. US MNC operating in both USA and Dubai. How many common days of working will they share? 5, 6, how many days will they share? They will share only 4 common days. Nope, they will share 4 common days. Common days of working. Question was common days when both offices are open at the same time. So that is one challenge. Then what do you say? Okay, next example, let's take that. Okay, anybody seen hotels or buildings where they don't have the 13th floor? No 13th floor, no room number 13. Okay. So why is there? Why is this? Does it not look stupid sometimes? But that is how people think about it. It's a sense of belief, as you put it that way. So everything, communication is not just writing, not just speaking. It's understanding what the other person is thinking. Okay, then let's look at the next one. Next slide, what happened? Let my next slide come. Okay, next slide is there. Okay. 786. Do we have any person belonging to the Islamic faith in this list by any chance? We have one Islamic person in the batch, but I don't think he has been able to log in right now. Hey, he's there. Sheikh is there. Shabuddin is there. So Shabuddin, explain 786. I was looking for you only. I'm sorry I couldn't spot the name. Anyways, there was one guy, but I forgot. I didn't just slip name just slipped through. So tell me please. Let him explain, yaar. When we are fortunate enough to have people from different religious and different structure background, so let's just see what it is. I'm not sure, like he's saying there are multiple meanings for this, but let's suffice to say that it is something on which religious importance is attached to these three numerals in that particular sequence. 786. In that sequence there is some religious significance attached to those numerals. So I'm not sure if you've seen that. I tried doing this study. Now I'm not sure if you've done it or you guys, if you haven't, go out and see. When you drive, okay, just look at car numbers that end with this one. Whatever is the car number, let's say it ends with this. Okay. Just look at it, a license plate number. Okay. If a license plate number is there, 786, okay, just look at the person who's driving the car. It's about, I have seen whatever my data says, whatever people I have studied, I looked at about 10 people with this sequence in their cars. Out of that, I could recognize, obviously driving, I didn't have so much of time to do it. I will recognize about not license plate, yaar. I'm talking of a very specific example. Phone number nahi. License plate. Car license plate. That is what is my point. I'm not sure whether you've put in that, you've seen it there. Yeah, number is number, right. But mine is very specific to a specific purpose. So just see, just be aware. I saw one today only. Gentleman driving a Maruti 800, I think, I don't remember. Color was, I think, that beige color that 800 has, and he was wearing that. You've seen those prayer hats. I don't know what they are called exactly, but what you wear to the dargah or masjid, whatever. I forget the name of that hat. What is that cap called? Anybody help me out with it? What's that lace cap called? Shabuddin, any idea? Forget the name of that cap. The lace cap that they wear, I'm not sure what that name is. I've forgotten. That will come to. Green is for Muslims, I think for them green is a pious color. For us, white is a pious color. For Buddhists, it's that orange color they wear. For some Chinese monks, it's yellow that they wear. So all those things do matter. Okay, fine. So let's move on.